Hey everybody, welcome back to Nasty Nate's Garage. So we're going to be tearing into the Camaro here. Temperature's up, sun's out, it's getting nice. Time to get this thing out on the streets and back to the racetrack. We're going to start tearing into it and get it ready for that. Alright, so we got a few updates since that update video I made back in April. But one thing I talked about in that video that I'm still really excited to do, and it's going to happen, but we're going to put it on pause for now, is the coilover plug conversion. I've got everything here to do it, and when I was kind of going through trying to figure out where I was going to mount the coils, I ended up finding that the reason for the random misfire had a wire that was burnt, and I got it on the bench here, and we'll show you what that looks like here in a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and tear in and get that wire replaced. And this isn't the first time I've had this issue either, and in fact it's actually ended up being the same cylinder as last time, but it was in such a position where I couldn't really see it, and it looked good, so I was like, okay, it's not that this time, which is what sent me down the road to the coilover plug conversion. But then when I was trying to get things ready and moving stuff around, you'll see what I'm looking at. I didn't see it the first time, and it was painfully obvious. And above and beyond that, we're just going to be going through doing some general maintenance stuff. I got a list on the back window. We'll take you back there in a second. Yeah, we're just going to be doing some general maintenance and kind of getting this thing gussied up and ready to go for spring. So let's head on back to the back glass. I got my list written down on the window, and we'll take a look at it and go from there. Alright, so we're back on the list here. Just a few punch items here, nothing super crazy, but in addition to getting that plug wire swapped out, just some other random housekeeping things I wanted to get done for this year that I've kind of been putting off. First one is change the oil. I haven't changed it since, I can't remember if it was 2019 or 2020. Now, with that said, this car hasn't seen the road much since then. In fact, I probably haven't even put 500 miles on it since then. While we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and change the transmission fluid as well. When I bought this car back in 2017, it had a fairly fresh reman transmission in it. I want to say it was put in 2016, and the fluid's never been changed on it. So we're going to go ahead and do a drain and fill on that. We're also going to drop the pan, change the filter, and just kind of give the pan a once over. When I was down there last, I vaguely remember seeing a little dent in the pan around the drain plug area. So I want to inspect that, and if we can massage that out, great. If not, I'll start looking for a new pan. So we're just going to be working front to back from there. When I bought this car, I immediately put a set of 373s in it. That was also back in 2017. And since then, I always took the brake-in oil out, or brake-in gear oil out when after that was done, and I haven't looked at it since. So I want to pull the check plug and just make sure the fluid's still full, because it is looking a little wet on the differential itself too. So it can't be leaking that bad, I don't think, because it's not really even more than a couple of drips on the floor. But just want to give that a once over, make sure it's not leaking more than it appears, and also make sure the fluid in there looks good and still looking fairly fresh. If not, we'll go ahead and change on that as well. Let's see here. From there, we're going to bounce down to, got some new drag radials we're going to be putting on. The ones I had are pretty roached. I'm surprised the cords aren't showing yet. They're right there. So while we have the rears off, I'm going to go ahead and pull the front wheels off as well. We're just going to go ahead and inspect all the brake pads. I've never really done that with this car in the almost 8 years I've owned it. So I'm just going to give them a once over, make sure those all look good. I'm sure they're fine, but since we're here, might as well do it, right? And then the other thing I ran into was last time I had the last set of drag radials rebalanced. The shop that I had been using was also, they must have switched brands of weights, because the ones they had were a little taller. And even though I already had the calipers clearanced on these, because this rear end's out of an 01 SS, And when these wheels and tires were on my 94 Firebird, the formula, they cleared just fine. And then with this, I knew they weren't going to, because I know the calipers are a little different. They're not even in the same position, oddly enough. So I had clearanced them once before, but for a thinner weight. So, and the other one's all ripped off. So I need to tickle those a little bit more with the grinder, I'm assuming, depending upon what weights. I'm taking them somewhere else this time to get mounted. So we'll see what kind of weights they use, and if they're looking tall like the last set that I remember last seeing or hearing bouncing down the road as they came off my wheel, we'll go ahead and address that as well. But I'm 99% sure I'm going to probably have to do a little more clearancing on those calipers. So that's the big punch list. You got the change oil, you got to drain and fill the transmission, swap out the filter, and inspect that pan. Gonna just check the rear diff fluid, make sure it's looking good and full. We're gonna go around and inspect all the brake pads on all four corners. Got the new drag radials, gonna pull the wheels and get them off to the shop. And once those come back, we're gonna work on clearancing the calipers to the weights that they put on. All right, so let's jump to it. We'll go ahead and see in the engine bay. I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at there, the burnt wire and everything else, and we'll move on from there. As I talked about before, there's the wire that burned. It was on the number 6 plug, and I mean, it's just taut. It is really, really tight up against everything down there. So I'm going to go with a little bit longer plug. I have a number 8 plug wire that I'm going to use for number 6, and then it'll hopefully run down a little bit. I can't get my hand in, the light in the way, but essentially hoping it'll kind of run down a little further instead of just come straight across, if that makes sense. Because right now it's just coming across this way. So it's basically leaning up against the backside of this header on the backside. So you can't even really see that it's burning or know what's going on until you actually pull it out of there and take a look. But so hopefully it'll run straight down a little bit more first. Even number 8's a little suspect right there. There we go. I'll clean some of that up when I get down there too. But so yeah, that's the plan, is to kind of get it to run straight down and then over, rather than kind of just lazily leaning up against the back of the header here and then, you know, burning up again like it has been. So so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and crawl underneath there and pull a couple of pulleys off and drop the belt in order to get to the distributor cap. So we'll get you down there and we'll check that out. All right. So we got to look at doing something to protect this wire for whatever reason. If something happens where the precautions I'm taking to keep this wire off of the header fail. So I'm going a little overboard. I'm gonna be sharing some pictures here with you because I don't have video on it. But I'm gonna be using this heat wrap that I have. I'm gonna put a first layer of this wrap on the plug wire, and the adhesive is not sticking as well as I'd like to on this material. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap that in electrical tape just to make sure it stays in place, and then I'm gonna throw another layer of it on top of that, just like this, and we're gonna go ahead and put that on there, and then we're gonna put the boot on top of that. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put that together and get that slapped in the car, and we'll go from there. All right, so we're back. So because the wire I have that I need to replace is on the right side, I have to go ahead and pull this idler pulley off, or I guess it's not the idler, it's the tensioner pulley, in order to even get access to the plug wires on the right side. If I were working on the left side, I mean, here's all 4 right here. That'd be nice, but unfortunately the right side's gonna be the culprit. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the tensioner off here, and that'll give us access to the plug wires on this side. All right, we're back. So I got that idler pulley, or the tensioner pulley off. I don't know why I keep saying idler. And now we have access to all the plug wires on the left side. Or, I'm sorry, the right side. Man, I'm all turned around tonight. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that plug wire out. It kind of feeds through kind of funky. All right. We're back. Sorry about that. My other light kind of crapped out on me, and I know this one's probably not as good, so so I know that number 6 is the second one from the top on the side of the Opti here. I know that probably doesn't mean much to you guys. Probably can't see it from that angle, but we're gonna go ahead and pull that wire here. Pull the wire, pulling the wire, pulling the wire. There we go. All right. Oh, that's cute. All right, well, we lost the boot, and so we'll get topside here, see if we can find that, and we'll start feeding the other one back down here. See if we can get it through. Did I feed it the other way before? I think I did. I honestly can't remember how I fed these last time. All right, let me get topside here and see what's going on, and well, I guess I'll bring you up there with me here. All right, we're back topside. I did get the right wire. I was a little worried about that for a minute. I do not see where the boot went, though. So I guess we're not going to worry about it, and we're going to go ahead and put the new wire on and start feeding through. So I'll get you back in here in a minute once I got it on the plug and kind of feed it through here and get it back to where it's going to go. So sit tight, and we'll be back in a second. Alright, so we got the wire on there, and it's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to go straight down instead of trying to come back and hug behind pointer here, behind this header pipe here. Now it's just going straight down. It's not touching anything, and I still have tons of wire in to get to where I need to go. If you can see what I got left here, I got to feed a little bit more through still. It's kind of fighting me for some reason. Apparently it doesn't like gravity. I don't know. But so I'm gonna finish feeding that through, and then we'll get that plugged into the Opti, and we should be all set with that. And then misfire that I've been fighting again should be taken care of, and hopefully permanently until we do the coilover plug upgrade, which I'm extremely geeked to do. I can't wait to get that in here. All right. So we're back. I did get that wire run. It is on the distributor cap. Still got to put the tensioner pulley back on and put the belt back on, but we do have that plug wire on there. I am running into some other new issues now. If you can get my hand out of the way, and if you can see down there, probably not. Yeah, it's hard to see, but now I've got the wires laying up against the header in a new spot. So I ran to the auto parts store and got a package of these guys here. So I'm going to utilize some of these and try to get a little creative with some zip ties to kind of try and pull it back closer to the block and away from the header. So that means I got to crawl back underneath here again. Perfect. Oh, how's that go? Alright, it's a little hard to see, but I went and got some of the spark plug divider clip things and put them in between 6 and 8 to kind of, just keep the wire separated a little bit. And then in order to keep number 6 wire from leaning up against the header a little bit further downstream, I added that white zip tie right there. I don't know if you guys can see it right here, and it really got that wire off the header. Like I said, it's kind of hard to see, but the wire was basically leaning up right up against that top one as it was going forward towards the distributor. So I got it pulled back. I don't see any other potential issues here. Definitely in much better shape than we just were. But yeah, I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, just that number 6 cylinder with this particular brand of headers. These are pace setters. They just are, I don't know, the headers I had on my Firebird I did not have this kind of problem with, so it is what it is. But that'll wrap up the wire. I'm just going to go ahead and do oil and filter change here real quick, and then I'm going to wrap it up for the night. All right, well, that's going to do it for tonight. I do have that wire here, like, you know, you saw it on the car, obviously. I do have the boot that I wanted to show you guys as well. So we got that wire reran. I'm not sure I'm in love with where I ran it. Gonna sleep on it tonight. I saw a couple other different things as I was kind of wrapping up after I got done shooting, showing you guys where I put it and zip tied it. So I'm gonna sleep on that, and knowing me, we'll probably end up moving it next time we're back out here. But you know, here's that wire again that we were looking at before, and oddly enough, I did go ahead and cut this boot open. You can see the nice sear on there, and then that burnt part of the boot right there. So that was just leaning up against the header, and these heat boots I bought for these spark plugs, these are not, I had a different set on there last time, and the same cylinder had the same sear mark on it, but the plug wasn't burned. So I ended up using, I had one of those extra ones I had left over from last time on 6, just because it obviously lasted a lot longer. But we'll see how that goes. Chances are we'll probably be changing how I routed that. We also got the oil changed. I just went ahead and did that. One thing I've started doing, since I don't remember exactly when I changed it last time, and shout out to Derek at Vice Grip Garage for giving the advice, I went ahead and dated and put the mileage on the filter after I got it put in. So now next time I'll know when I put that on. So that's going to be a wrap for tonight. I'm beat. It's late. So we'll catch you next time out here. Thanks for watching. All right, welcome back to Nasty Nate's Garage. We're back on the Camaro again today. It's been, I don't know, probably 5-6 days since we were out here last. Last time we were out, we got that plug wire replaced that was burnt, and we got the oil changed. And as predicted, laying in bed that night, I decided that I'm going to go ahead and reroute that wire. Like I said at the end of the last video, there was something I saw at the very end as I was already done filming, and I was like, that could be better. We're going to try it. I'm not 100% sure it's going to work. I'm not even 100% sure it's the right thing to do. But we'll get underneath there and we'll show you what we're talking about. We also got the oil change last time, so we can go ahead and mark that as complete. And this thing is a runner. All right. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and jump back on rerouting that plug wire, and then from there I'm going to go ahead and jump on that transmission and get that fluid drain, pull the pan down, inspect that, slap a new filter in it, and we'll see what we got left for time, and go from there. Alright, so we're back under the car. I don't even know if you guys can see any of this or not. It's probably gibberish at this point, but I'll try to explain it. As I was noticing the other night, I could run this wire on the bottom side of the motor mount and accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish even more gooder than I am now. So I'm going to kind of look at that right now. I'm going to pop that wire off of there, and I'm going to pull it back through and run it underneath of this motor mount instead of, like I said, I don't think you guys can even see it, but underneath the motor mount instead of over top of it, exposing it to the headers. So I'm going to go ahead and start finagling that, and I'll bring you guys back in here in a little bit. Alright, I have no idea if you guys can see this or not, but essentially what I did actually was the right call. So I pulled the wire back off and ran it underneath the motor mount but above the K-member, and then back up, and then I'm gonna zip tie them off to the transmission cooling lines. And that has the plug wire 100% off of the header in probably the best position it's ever been since I've had the car. So I feel like I made the right call doing this, so I'm going to go ahead and cinch down the zip tie. Give it a quick once over. That looks beautiful, and we'll call them that good. All right, one major issue averted. Now on to the next. All right, there's our transmission pan, and that is our next objective. All right, so we got the transmission drain in here. Fluid looked really good. That was bordering on unnecessary. I mean, it still looks brand new. I mean, it's really nice. But I don't know if you can probably see that little dent by the drain plug, so I'm guessing there's probably gonna be another half a cord in here when I pull this off, but we do need to address that. It's not terrible, but it's bad enough. We should probably look at it and get it taken care of. So this thing's about done draining. I'm gonna go ahead and start plugging away at these pan bolts and get that knocked down. Alright, well, that's about as good as that's gonna get. Probably just gonna ease that drain plug back in there. So I don't have any more stuff coming at me when we're putting this back together. Where did the drain plug go? Oh, there it is, hiding back here. Alright. Yeah, we're going to pop this pan down and see what we're working with. I got the new filter and stuff over here. So yeah, go from here. I'll just let you run and watch along. Oh no! Camera down! Camera down! Alright, I'll have to bring you guys back in when I'm done. I don't think I'm going to be able to film this and run all the equipment here at the same time, so we'll get you back in here when we get it down. Alright, well, we got the pan down, we got it on the bench, and just kind of looking through here. I mean, there's some stuff, and then I'm trying to get a better view of it. And, you know, the magnets have, come on, there we go. They definitely have some material on it, but I don't think, I mean, I feel like I've seen worse and had transmissions working just fine. So, yeah, nothing giving me any like major causes for concern here. Like I said, I mean, there's definitely some material on there. So definitely happy that I am changing this filter. But like I said, the fluid that came out of this thing looked great. So obviously these magnets were doing their job, keeping a lot of the sediment at the bottom of the pan, and then the filter was obviously doing its job as well. But it was definitely looking like we needed to get this transmission fluid changed. So so I'm going to go ahead and clean this pan up, and essentially it's good old brake cleaner and shop towels and elbow grease. That's about all it's going to come down to. So maybe we'll just do a little fast video here, throw some music on, and let you guys sit back and watch as I clean this pan up. Alright, so now we got to address this issue here. Obviously I got a little dent here. I don't, for the life of me, remember how this happened. I might even bought the car this way, I don't know. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just back this drain plug out. I'm going to put this on the floor, and I'm going to use a little block of wood and a hammer, and I'm just going to try and push this all back down. It seems like it's going to be the safest way to get this back to where it needs to be. I don't know if you can see on the inside there, but right in here, right in there, it's kind of so I'll bring you back in down on the floor, and I'll start massaging on this. Alright, so essentially I'm just going to kind of use this 2x4, and I'm going to put it in here, and I'm just going to kind of slowly start massaging on her and see what we come up with here. Alright, so we got all those dents out. I'm going to go ahead and get the new filter in there, and we'll start getting ready to button this thing back up. Alright, so we got the this video of a filter going back into a 4L60E transmission from Hoo Hoblin. He unknowingly let me steal this from him. My video got corrupted on this, so I'm not able to share it with you, but this is the exact same procedure. So we'll get back to putting the pan on. Alright, we got the pan bolts going back in here. I do have the torque wrench out. I looked online and everything said from 10 to 15 foot-pounds of torque for these, so I'm going to split the difference and just go 12 and a half. So I got the torque wrench set up for that. Right now I'm still just running the bolts back in. Alright, got everything kind of just snugged up. Before I forget, I'm going to tighten this drain plug back up too. Come on, buddy. Alright, there we go. There, perfect. Alright, that's done. Now we can start torquing on the hole. Yep, I need that. Start torquing these down. And like a tire, you want to go across. So I'm going to start back in this corner. There's one, and we're going going to come over here and do this corner. Alright, I'll come back here. Alright, we've been around the horn, they're all tight. That's it for under here now, at least for this. Now we can go ahead and start filling the transmission. We'll do that through the dipstick tube up top. Not 100% sure how many quarts this thing takes. I bought 6 just to be safe. I'm thinking it's going to take at least 5. I just don't know if this is considered a deeper pan or not. So we'll go ahead and I'll throw probably 4 quarts in there, fire it up, run it through the gears, and then see where we're at. So yeah, we are done under here. So we'll get you back topside here and I'll start filling this thing up. Hey everybody, we're back. You know, one little trick I've had that I've kind of used over the years here and there, you know, like I was saying when I was under the car, I'm not 100% sure how much fluid this takes. And I don't want to pull in. It's not a it's a transmission, so you don't want to play the whole I know how much you're gonna get. So what I have here is actually the empty oil jug from when I changed my oil. I'm gonna start pouring this into the oil jug. I think 5 quarts is right about here. That'll tell me everything I need to know, whether it's 4, 5, or 6. Judging by what's in the pan here, I'm guessing it's probably 6. But we'll go ahead and start pouring this in, and we'll see what we get. Well, there's 4. And we're still going. Well, there's 5, and there's still probably another, I don't know, quart or half quart left in here. So we'll go ahead and throw 5 in here now, and then we'll fire it up and run through the gears and see what she's looking at, and then we'll tweak it from there. So that's another, I just wanted to show you guys that, because that's a good tool if you're ever not sure, especially in this case, because I know that's not the factory pan, so I don't really have a spec I can look up to figure out how much fluid this takes. It was going to be trial and error, and like I said, I was going to start with 4. Now I can see that I'm pretty safe starting with 5. So we're going to start with putting 5 in there, and we'll go from there. All right, so we got 6 quarts of some Castrol Dexron. Dexron 6 Mercron LV. I don't remember what that is. My Roman numeral skills are gone. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump 5 of these in. We're gonna fire this thing up. I'm gonna run it through the gears, and while it's running, I'm gonna go ahead and check the fluid levels and see where we're at. and we'll add, or hopefully not subtract. Hopefully we'll be adding from there. And I'm gonna guess it's gonna need just a tickle, like a scooch more, like maybe a quarter or something, just based on what I was seeing as I dumped it out. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started on dumping. Ooh, 3, 4, 5,
Because I really love to count.
Okay, so we got you in the car. I'm gonna go ahead and start this thing up and just kind of run this thing through each gear. I'm gonna start in reverse, leave it in there for, I don't know, 5-10 seconds. Neutral, 5-10 seconds. Overdrive, 5-10 seconds. Drive, second, first, and then also work your way back up, leaving it in there for around 5 seconds again. That'll get all the fluid equally distributed throughout the transmission before you start checking levels. Alright, now we can go check the levels. Alright, so I just got done checking the levels, and for whatever reason it's barely registering on the stick, so I'm going to throw that 6th quart in, fire her back up, see what she looks like, and if it's still low I'm going to have to run out and get another quart in the morning. So here we go. Six. We're good now. 6 was the answer. All right, so 6 was the answer on that. She's full now. All right, so we're back. Busted off the first rear wheel, I'm going to go ahead and do the quick brake inspection on this right now before I go to bed. I do have a little bit of time. So we're just I'll do the rears tonight, and I'll take a look at the fronts another day. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bust this other wheel off and start taking a look and see what we got. All right, well, that's going to be a wrap on day 2 here. We got a lot of accomplished today. We actually got all the big stuff pretty much knocked off, except for, you know, the only big thing we really have left is clearancing those calipers. So we ended up getting the transmission fluid changed, so we can knock that off. Put that new filter in, we knocked that off the list. We massaged that little dent out of the pan, we knocked that off the list. So we got left, we got to check the rear differential fluid. We got the rear brake pads inspected, so I'll just put a little rear on here, EAR, and put a check mark by it. And then right front, no, we've got to do that still. Got the rear wheels busted off to get to the shop and get new drag radials put on them. And when those come back, we have to check and make sure the weights are going to clear the calipers. And if they don't, we're going to have to do some clearancing on those. But it's another late one here. I'm beat. Going to go get some shut-eye. Hopefully not change my mind on anything this time. And we'll see you back next time. Hey, everybody. So here we are. We're back. Good news. Got the drag radials back this afternoon. So we're going to go ahead and start getting those fitted back on the car. I do have my angle grinder out so we can start tickling on those calipers a little bit and making sure that the weights are going to clear. One of them on the left side, the way they stuck the weights on, I'm not even sure I'm gonna have to do that. So, but the right side's looking like I'm probably gonna have to tickle that caliper a little bit. They got the weights pretty stacked on there. Those Mickey Thompsons, they are absolutely amazing. They hook like they're trying to make an extra buck, but they do not. They are very hard to get balanced for some reason. I don't know why. Like I said, the right one actually, the left one balanced out great. I've never seen that few of weights on one of these before, but the right one's pretty typical from what I'm used to seeing. They got a ton of weight on there. So we're gonna go ahead and start fitting those on there. And then after that, we'll start hitting that list. I'll start, you know, since we're working front to back on fluids, if I got the oil done, I got the transmission done, we'll go ahead and check the rear diff fluid, make sure that's where we want it and it's looking good. But we're gonna start with the wheels. We're gonna start with putting the wheels back on, probably because I'm most excited about it. And then we'll go from there. I'm really hoping to get this thing back on the ground tonight if we can. It is already kind of getting late. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get to it. I'll bring you in the back and we'll start getting this thing fitted up. Hey everyone, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw this on here real quick. I'm just gonna throw a couple lug nuts on real quick and just kind of snug them up with the impact. And then I've got to do neutral right now so we can start turning the wheel and just kind of taking a quick peek and seeing where the hit weights are at and making sure they're not hitting anything, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna go ahead and throw these on and just kind of start working them by hand and making sure they're clear and everything. The other side is going, I could try getting the camera over there. It's just really tight. There's a lot of stuff over there. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and get this wheel on. I'm just gonna throw a couple lug nuts on, like I said, and just kind of start working it and see where we're at. Alright, so the inside ones are rubbing. I'm hoping that it's marking where it's rubbing at so I can massage on it a little bit with the old grinder. get you in here and kind of show you where it was hitting, and it's just barely tickling it. So it won't take much to get that. So yeah, we'll get you in here and let you tickle and see for yourself where it's kind of rubbing, and the angle grinder out, and we'll go to town. All right, so those weights left a really nice line right here of where they're rubbing. So, and there's some raised letters on the caliper right here, and I think that's kind of where it's tickling a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and get the angle grinder out. I've got a grinding wheel on there, and we're gonna just kind of massage on this a little bit until we can get the weights not to hit. But yeah, I love that it just left me a nice, perfect line. That's exactly what I was hoping for. All right, so I've got the angle grinder out, took the guard off, roll the dice, keep your hands away. Also gonna PPE up, and you know, I'm not a big PPE guy, so kids, if I'm putting on safety glasses, that means you should be putting on safety glasses. So like I said, we're gonna go ahead and start working on the caliper a little bit and see if we can't get these weights to clear. Alright, that thing was like way more aggressive than I was anticipating it being. Alright, so we'll go ahead and throw this wheel back on and see how we're looking. Mission accomplished. It clears. The angle grinder was so aggressive. I've got two angle grinders. I'm gonna throw a flat disc on my other one and just kind of clean it up a little bit, because it was, like I said, it was really aggressive. But yeah, I'll get you in here in a minute and show you what it looks like, and we'll move on to the other side. All right, so there's what I did. Like I said, that thing was pretty aggressive. That's why I'm going to take a flap disc to it and at least try and smooth some of that out a little bit. But yeah, I'm happy to have these clearance finally. That was a big one. So, all right, I'll show you what we look like when we flap after the flap disc, and we're going to get it all cleaned up. Alright, that is looking much better. I'll get you in here and show you what we got. Alright, we got it all cleaned up with the flap disc. That's nice and smooth now. It feels much better. So I'm going to go ahead, get the wheel on. If I can figure out how to get you guys over to the other side and not trip over you every 30 seconds, I'll bring you over there. If not, you know, it's going to look just like this side. Sit tight, and yeah, we'll go ahead and keep going. So yeah, I'll go ahead and run this wheel on, and we'll check them when we're done. All right, we had just enough room to get the camera in here, and I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to see much. Like, I'm literally, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm up against the wall right now, or technically up against a folding table. So I've kind of already started a little bit. I'm massaging this. You can see totally right where the weights were hitting before. So I'm going to keep working this and get this kind of nibbled down. We'll get the wheel back on here and see how it does. All right, we'll see what we got there. Took quite a bit off this side because there's so much more weight on that other one. And this other one also had a really big gouge in it from the last set of wheels, much more so than that side. So I didn't even bother putting the other wheel on to see how much, see if I needed to. I knew exactly where it needed to be tickled. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and run the flap disc over this real quick to clean it up, and then I'll go get the wheel and we'll just make sure everything's good, and we'll go from there. We're gonna go ahead and start running the lug nuts in on this side here, and we'll see how it does. All right, she's on there. All right, we're back. So we are going to look at the front, at least the left front. If the front brakes are even close to, I mean, the rear brakes were actually exceptional. So if the front brakes are in that same condition, I'm gonna, at least on the left front, I'm gonna assume the right front's also as equally as good a condition. And kind of what I was talking about earlier, where I thought the front brakes are dragging. I mean, that's not great, but it's not terrible. Before, when I would do that, I mean, it would just thump. I mean, as soon as I took my hand off, it would stop. This is actually rolling pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and just see what we got for pad life on the left front, and go from there. All right, so we got the wheel off of here, and yeah, I'm saying we're good. These are exceptional. These are in really good shape. I'm not even going to bother knocking the right front off. There's nothing to look at, and I did check, and that right front is turning just as good as the left. So as far as all that goes, I think we're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this back on, and we're gonna get underneath there. All right, so we're underneath the car, and right here is the check plug. And all you need on that is you take the end of your 3/8 inch ratchet, you stick it in there, and you take it out. Pretty simple. Go ahead and we'll get this level checked and go from there. I just remembered that last time I checked this, it was just a scoosh overfilled, so it could dribble a little out. I don't think that's going to happen in our case, but you never know. And it did not. Okay. Oh, but it is full. And
it looks okay. Ugh, I hate the smell of rear end fluid. Maybe it's not that bad now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, it is right to the check fill. It is perfectly filled. Fluid, it looks okay. I thought it looked a little dirty at first, but I think my pinky might have been a little dirty to start. So, all right. Another one to check off the list. We're in the home stretch now.
All right, well, that's going to be a wrap on the Camaro. We got a lot accomplished here over the last few days. Man, just getting that plug wire figured out, that was huge. I was not sure I was even going to have this thing on the road this summer, if I was going to do that coilover plug conversion, and I felt like I was kind of where I was at, and I was stuck. I had to do something to try and figure out what was going on with this thing, and then sure enough found the thing that's been the thing every time it's been the thing. I don't know why I questioned why it wasn't the thing, but so we got that fixed. I'm excited about that. Got the oil change for the first time and I don't want to talk about how many years. We got that transmission fluid, got the whole transmission service actually. We got the fluid swaps, we got the filter change, massaged that little dent out of the pan. We got the new drag radials on, they're looking spiffy. We got those calipers clearance, so the weight's a little clear. And we just checked on the rear diff and made sure that looked good. Obviously that's something I'm going to probably have to address down the road. I don't like how wet it is. It's you know, it's not leaving any spots on the floor, but fluid's going somewhere, because when I filled it after the last time, it was just dribbling down when I put the check plug back in. And obviously that didn't happen this time. So I have lost some fluid, but I put my pinky in there and it didn't even get hardly down and I was hitting the fluid. So I mean it's full and the fluid looked good, but I gotta address that leak at some point in time, because that's no bueno. But that's gonna do it. If you like this content, please hit that like button. If you want to see more of this type of stuff, hit that subscribe button. It's free, don't cost nothing, and we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. I got another unboxing and review video of another AliExpress DeWalt tool, power tool. We got the DCF 880 I've been reviewing. Some of that's going to commingle with this, as you'll see. We've got I've got a Makita 1/4-inch impact driver and a battery sitting on the bench right now that we're going to review at some point in time. I'm just waiting for a battery charger to show up so I can get some juice in the battery. Well, you guys probably already saw I did the gate. That was kind of why I had a big gap in there. I should back up. I had to build a gate for the top of the stairs on our deck so our toddler doesn't take a spill. And then my wife was leaving for work the other night and her brakes were just howling. I don't know, but so we had to service those as well because they were in desperate need to be swapped out. So that was part of the reason why it took so long between working on the Camaros. I had some other stuff, and all that stuff is filmed and edited for the most part. So those will be coming out probably in the next month or so. And other stuff I got coming up, we got to do the transmission service on the Titan. I ordered that pan, man, it's been like 4 weeks and it's still not here. I don't know what's going on with that, but I might have to call the rainforest and find out where my package is. We've got got a couple of mopeds down in the shed that I use for pit bikes and kind of tooling around the neighborhood that we got to get pulled up here and fired up for the season. We'll get those up here, get those going. But yeah, that's kind of the big stuff we got coming up. I'd like to get you guys out to the racetrack with me at some point in time too, and kind of show you what a day at the track looks like for me. Hopefully I do well. If I don't, you guys probably won't see the video. Got a lot of different stuff coming up, a lot of exciting stuff, a lot of fun stuff. So if you want to see more content like that, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. I'd like to get to 20. So yeah, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you watching, and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.